future Jonathan here, or also I guess known as Prozilla482. Awful name choice, I know. Blame 13-year-old me. I'm just re-recording my intro here to give more context to what you'll be seeing. So the first half of my video, I'll be honest with you, was not great. I didn't look into the camera near enough. My voice reading a script was very, very bland and just not interesting. And I just misread the script at some points and was like, whatever, I'll just fix in post-production. Now I'm fixing in post-production. So at some points I'll have to pause and just re-explain some things or just record whole new bits entirely, which is why I recommend you just skip to this time right here. That is the green screen section. It's what I think is the best section as of right now. What I mean as of right now, it is, because I'm actually alert. I'm having fun with it. I'm explaining stuff. It's probably the best part of the video, in my very biased opinion. But yeah, I also should mention, if you've seen the boiled one before, skip straight to the green screen. If you haven't, I guess watch the summary. Also, before we get back into the real video and I'm done re-recording the intro, I'll have two very special images at the end for those who want to see. Very special, very funny. If you want to see them, you just have to wait till the end. Okay, so I guess enjoy the video and enjoy the green screen part. That is the funnest part.
Anyways, so everyone knows what the boiled one is. Not everyone knows what the boiled one is about. You've probably seen it somewhere, about somewhere or something. I don't know, I'm just rambling at this point. But he comes from somewhere, and that somewhere is not me. That somewhere, someone is Dr. Nowhere, which is why you should check out his channel. You want to check out his channel. It's right here. Go subscribe. I like it. You'll like it too. Everyone likes it. Getting into what you came here for, the boiled one, and my crackpot explanation for it. But before I can actually explain it, kind of got to go over it just a little. Which is where my laptop comes in. My laptop didn't turn on. Look at the camera. What is wrong with me? Okay, so I've broken up the video into a few different parts. The first part I've just called warnings. And I'll just start going over why it's called that. First scene in the video is up for less than a second. Now, at first you might mistake it for just some random object like I had, but it's actually the boiled one himself. I'll expand on this later, so we'll just move on for now. After that, we get two back-to-back warnings.
Barely a few minutes in, there's already a mistake, but it's whatever. We're only human. I sort of jumped the gun and explained something that's important later on, but all you need to know is that the video begins with a warning talking about how the video is a cognitohazard. Then I explain what a cognitohazard is.
And for those who don't know what a cognitohazard is, it's very, very hard to explain unless you are an internet addict like myself. So basically, a cognitohazard is an idea or a word or a picture or a video, anything physical that you simply seeing or knowing of causes adverse effects. If I were just to make one up on the spot, it's like if I said the word, I don't know, electrospecto, and then you just exploded. No, that's not a good one. Let me try again. It's like if I said the words electrospecto, and then all of a sudden you just have like a mental breakdown. It's a cognitohazard because just you knowing about the word or hearing it caused you mental anguish. But we'll move on. If we are exposed to the cognitohazard, we'll have to grab 4 items. Those 4 items being a Bible open to Psalm 91:10, earplugs, pencils, and paper. After that, we will read Psalm 91:10 aloud. No evil shall befall you, and no plague shall come near your dwelling.
So guys, I'll be honest, I completely fucked this next bit. I don't know what I was doing. But all this stuff is meant for the preparation if the anomaly does affect you in some way. What you're supposed to do is if you hear the anomaly talking to you, you're supposed to put the earplugs in. You're supposed to write on the paper, I can see this paper, I can see my hand, I can't hear the screaming of thousands, I can't hear the feast. I am a moving, breathing human being on planet Earth. Then you read Psalm 91:10 aloud. Then after that, if you still hear the anomaly talking to you, you're supposed to call the cops, and they give you amnestics, which makes you forget about it. I'll go into amnestics a little more, but I hope this was suffice enough to cover what I entirely fucked up. Another quick interruption. So this was something interesting I found while I was editing. I somehow completely missed this. After the I can see this paper, I can see my hand, briefly before that, in red text, very like insanely quick, like there for a few frames, there's text behind it that says, I can't see this paper. I have no hand. I can't hear the laughter of thousands. I can hear the feast. I cannot move, nor do I want to. I didn't find this until I was editing this now, and if I knew about it during the green screen segment, I'm sure I would have brought it up. But just another cool thing that was hidden in the video, and I'm sure there are a few others that I missed.
So, and for those who don't know what amnestics are, it's basically like oh, you saw something you shouldn't have. We're just going to erase that from your memory. Very good. Very fun idea. Right, next, we go to part 2, the incident. In the late 90s in Pennsylvania, there was a show that ran locally, teaching kids how to stay safe in the forest. The host of this show passed away in 2001. For some reason, on August 13th, 2003, the 13th episode of the series began an unscheduled rerun. In one of these clips, we see the host mention a poisonous oak and the tree of heaven. In the middle of this rerun, a disturbing melted face appears and seemingly talks with the viewers watching. This anomaly was dubbed Fen 228. While Fen spoke, what appeared to be footage of hospitals occasionally appeared on the screen. To protect us from the anomaly's effects, the video has been altered so that we should remain safe. Its original audio was reversed, but if we were to reverse it again, we would hear
Cause a manifestation of my being in the future. You will be asleep in bed. I will be there and watch over you. When you wake, you will not be able to move any part of you. When the doctors eventually find you, they will not see me, but you will, and I'll see you too. Forever, I'll see you.
Why am I doing this in a dark room? Why? Who? What am I looking at? No one. I'm just going insane because I fucking hate this video. The anomalous broadcast was dubbed Broadcast 813 and was seen by 530 residents throughout the southern Pennsylvania area. Those who viewed the broadcast reported a number of strange side effects, but some of the strangest were a man who claimed the face was living in his brain and feeding on his spine. Someone else said that they had felt trumpets were playing in their ears before they fell asleep. Now we move on to the third part, the cover-up. The very next day, August 14th, 2003, NERC, or the North American Electrical Reliable Corporation, was ordered by the Ephrata branch to have all power grids to the state of Pennsylvania disabled by 4 p.m. to prevent further escalation of the anomaly and public knowledge of Broadcast 813. This act snowballed and became the cause for the 2003 blackout, which affected over 50 million people across New York, New Jersey, Ohio, and Canada. It was during this great power outage that the Ephrata branch collected all traces of the anomalous broadcast and destroyed them. Part 4. The Aftermath. 12 days after Broadcast 813 aired, more than 509 people throughout the state of Pennsylvania were diagnosed with locked-in syndrome, usually an extremely rare disease. People who suffer from locked-in syndrome cannot move any part of their body voluntarily except for their eyes. Everyone who was suffering from the mass diagnosis of locked-in syndrome viewed Broadcast 813. About 60 people were chosen to be interviewed about their condition. The interviews were conducted by the victims blinking using Morse code. The results varied wildly. Some answers only led to more questions, and others led to the termination of some patients. One victim stood out among the rest. His name is Redacted. We will call him Job Zamperini. Zamperini was a war vet, fluent in Morse code, and a very religious man. After Zamperini's grandson visited him and took a picture in his backyard, Zamperini and his family sought out a priest to bless his home. This photo was taken at his home. The picture appears to show Fen 288 in Zamperini's yard. The picture stated not to be a cognito hazard. Zamperini claims that there was something unholy within him, and if he were to describe what he was hearing, it would hurt him and those around him. Part 5, the interview, or the agent, whatever. I don't think I've decided on the name yet. Oh, I did. It's interview. An agent, presumably from the Ephrata branch, asks Zamperini if they can talk about the unholiness in his home. The agent asks if Zamperini noticed any symptoms before he lost all mobility. He mentions the face, says the face never left him once he saw it on TV. When the agent mentions others have seen what he saw on TV, that it might all be in their head, Zamperini responds no. It is in the window. When asked to describe the face, he describes it as horribly burnt, not of Lord Christ. The agent asks if he has experienced any other hallucinations other than the face. Zamperini responds that he hears the screaming of many different voices. When asked if he hears the screaming all the time, he says he only hears them at the night before he sleeps, but he also hears a trumpet at the same time. That's what we hear from Zamperini, is that he believes he has Christ at his side. After that, there's the glitch in the video. Then the agent disappears. Throughout the interview, the words "I can see you" have slowly become more and more clear before overtaking the words that were there previously. Then we finally see Fen 22-8, the boiled one, slowly appearing in the window. Part 6, the boiled one. Fen 22-8 then manifests and begins talking to us directly. On the screen there are pink words that read, "Wonderful day, the miracle of birth, of fetal fanfare," in Japanese, which translates to, "Fear the one and only Watanabe bird."
Listen closely. Do you hear it? You'll hear the laughter of thousands as the sky opens up. You'll hear the trumpets play their happy sounds. The scalding blood of life will pour down onto us all. Together, we will be still. Together, a feast fit for a king. Together, welded by love and purest connection. Be still.
So that was the end of me analyzing the video, but I still got a whole more yapping to do, a whole lot more yapping if I can actually talk. And since I hate transitions and I don't know how to do it, we're just there now. I don't know. Snap. Transition complete. I don't know. I hate starting transitions, all that. That's technically my job. Whatever. Alright. So I wore possibly my raggiest, worst clothes. I also don't look great. I realize I'm kind of red looking. That's because I'm just a little bit Irish. You know, it's the UK genes in me. I know I'm not part of the UK, but it's all the same Celtic, Roman, whatever. I don't really care that much. Alright, so first up, we have this baldy, ready, round head twat. I don't know what I just said. We have the boiled one. This guy, right here. So, what is he? What's he doing? Why are there a lot of numbers? Okay, first off, let me tell you what I think the boiled one is. Okay, so the boiled one, I think it's fairly cut and dry, pretty simple. I think he's a manifestation of war, an actual physical demon brought forth from the idea that war is hell. Now, why do I think that? Well, I'll just pull out my trusty handy-dandy phone where I keep all my notes, and I'll tell you. It's going to take me a few minutes. I don't really remember where I put them. Right here. I found them. So, my first point I gotta make, I am admitting, it is entirely schizophrenic. This is something you'd see on the side of Schizogram, where it's like I'm being attacked through radiation from my walls, they're invading my head, the satellites, they're attacking my teeth.
This government satellite man is burning my mouth, making me buy cigarettes, and then burning my mouth after I buy cigarettes. I need to move to another city and state.
That kind of thing. So, there's a part of the video where the guy's talking, the forest ranger, and he says, and they're just like things. It's 368, wherever it is, 368, 1013. Now, if we subtract the 3 and the 6, we get 3. Subtract the 6 and the 8, we get 2. Subtract the 10 and the 13, we get 232. Now, what is that? It's from the Bible, apparently. 1 John 3:23. I don't know. I've never read the Bible. And it says, "This is his command. We must believe in his name, Son of Jesus Christ, and love one another just as he commanded us." So I think that the forest ranger might be an allegory for, JC. I'm actually going to So another reason why I think that Jesus Christ, or the park ranger, is an allegory for Jesus Christ is pretty much, he said on August 13th, 2003, it will be important later. 2003 will be important later. The 13th episode aired. Obviously 13 is considered like unlucky number. Jesus was sold out by like Judas or something, which is like the 13th apostle maybe. I might be spewing utter garbage right now, but I just think that the park ranger is an allegory for, JC, which is kind of makes sense because this whole video is very religious. But if we move on from there, we get the Tree of Heaven. So that's important for two reasons. The Tree of Heaven is, one, it's an invasive plant. It's not native to America. And two, it is from Asia. Mainland China, I believe. I don't know. I just literally wrote it's invasive. But I'm fairly certain that it is from Asia, which will also, again, be important later. And then we get to what I think is kind of the more strange part that I couldn't really place. We have Nurk and the Ephrata branch. I don't know what the relation is exactly. I'm assuming, where's Ephrata? Was it this side? No, it was this side. Ephrata branch. They were like, what's the word? What's the word now? A government agency. I'm assuming, like, no, not a lot of people know what the SCP Foundation is, but it's like a government mandated, like, we investigate anomalies to make sure the public doesn't get hurt. And, like, we have control over NERC or whatever. So we commanded them to blah, 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 which led to the blackout of 2003, which is something I learned about through this project. I don't know where to put the Ephrata branch exactly. When I looked up Ephrata, this is the definition I got. The second wife of Caleb, the mother of Herzon, the mother of Hur, and grandmother of Caleb, who was one of those sent to spy the lands, the ancient name of Bethlehem in Judah. I don't know what that means. I'm assuming the Ephrata branch, again, tying in with a religious allegory, is kind of like just meant to monitor, to watch, to find these anomalies, and, put them down before they get too big. It was very Christian-esque. I don't know why.
Because this is dead serious. The inside and outside tour I did a few months ago of my house, everyone on the internet, my mother and my father are angry at me. They're blaming me. It's my fault. I admit it's my fault. I want everything about my house off the internet. I'll send in detectives. I'll send in police. I'll send in everything in my power to get it off the internet.
Listen to me.
All right. Now we get to what I consider one of the most important parts about my theory is the broadcast title itself, Broadcast 813. Why is that important? Well, if you know any Bible thumpers, you sure as hell have heard of Revelations 8:13, which is just straight up hell. Let me read it for you. Let me read you That was a car. That was a car beep. That scared the shit out of me. I thought the fire alarm was going off. Let me read to you Revelations 8:13. As I watched, I heard an eagle that was flying in the midair, calling in a loud voice. I read that too fast. Let me read it for you again. As I watched, I heard an eagle that was flying in midair call out in a voice, "Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of this earth, because the trumpet blast about to be sounded by the other three angels." Now, where have we heard trumpets before? Where have we heard the mention of trumpets blaring? Well, it was those affected by the broadcast, and I don't think I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't think Mr. Zamperini was, but he is the most important cog in this machine, the thing that ties it all together. So let's move on. So I mentioned previously that some of the afflicted from this anomaly were hearing trumpets. Trumpets, often doomsday, the seventh trumpets, they're all correlated within God, blah, blah, blah. I don't really care that much about religion, if you couldn't tell. But continuing on, we have Job Zamperini. Zamperini is important, who was a war vet, fluent in Morse code, blah, 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 has seen the horrors of war. So he's fluent in Morse code, all this. He is a very faithful person, if that was not clear enough, by saying, Christ is with me, he's by my side. Through him, I will gain strength over this evil. And we still see the boiled one appear in his window. And here's the screams of those who have, I guess fallen's not the right word. They don't describe it. They just say screaming. Here's screamings of many different people. They could be, people who he served with, people who he knew who died in some other way. But the reason why Zamperini is so important is because I had an actual conniption. I like Zamperini, I've heard that before. But I had no clue what I was talking about, so I kept watching the video. And we get to this part where it's like fetal fanfare. Have a good day.
Have a good day.
And then I used my phone, translate the Japanese at the bottom. And it says, "Fear the one and only Watanabe Bird." And I'm like, ugh! Oh! And then I remembered, high school. I read a book called Unbroken. Yeah, this whole video is kind of about Unbroken. So for those who haven't seen Unbroken, I'll give you a quick rundown. A real man, this is a real story by the way, by the name of Louis Zamperini was like a semi-famous track star. He ran in the 1936 Berlin Olympics. Let me look that up real quick. I was correct. It was the 1936 Berlin Olympics. That's actually disgusting. Why did I do that? We're going to be using this mic tomorrow. Because this happened around 1936, people, World War II was just a few years away, and Louis Zamperini was eventually one of the people. I don't think he got drafted. I think he just signed up and was like, I'll go to war. I'm proud to be an American. I'm not trying to, shit on veterans. I appreciate the work they did. It's just, funny times. It's so far removed we can make fun of World War II now, right? Anyway, so he signs up. He's assigned to the Pacific Theater. He eventually joins in like a bomber with a few other guys. I don't remember their names. Their ship gets shot down. They float in a raft for a few weeks, something like that, before they wash up on an island that is under control by the Imperial Japanese Army. From there, they get sent to a Japanese internment camp where they meet a man called Mutoshiro Watanabe. We're going to call him Watanabe because I cannot pronounce names that aren't strictly English, because I'm a cretin. From here on out, we're just going to call him Watanabe, who was often nicknamed the Bird. So from here, Louis Zamperini experiences baffling amounts of torture. Watanabe gets off on this, this guy's famous, I will beat him kind of thing. You know what I mean? Was that racist? It was probably a little racist. I'm sorry. But he gets off on the fact, he honestly, I got some kind of, he has this kink. He was like, I'll beat this guy because he's famous. I'll rough him up. And that's what he did. They went through mood swings called Lewis's friend, whatnot. And the most important part about Watanabe is he did all these horrible things. He starved people, killed people, beat them, all this. He got away. I'm not going to read out all of his crimes because that's just insane. Just know that he was top of the top bad guys. Genuinely disturbed, so sickening it's actually just kind of I don't want to touch it. But he lived and did not go to prison in Japan. He lived for the rest of his life. And you want to know when he died? He died of old age in 2003. It came back 2003 came back. Do you think I lied? No, it came back. 2003, that's when he died. That's when the 13th episode of that show played. It all comes round circle. So to more cohesively put my thoughts together and put a bow in the whole thing, let's lay out a timeline up here somewhere, maybe down here. I don't know, probably not down here because you can't see my legs. Why am I actually tweaking? Anyways, so in this fictional fantasy land, because where monsters and anomalies and demons and all that exist, Zamperini goes to war. He goes to war, he comes back, and like most veterans, I assume, he still struggles with the memories of the horrors of war, what he did, what he had to do to survive, all that. But eventually, we get to the year 2003, where, this guy who, again, I think is supposed to be reflective of Jesus Christ, just trying to be I'll help people even if they don't want my help. I'll help them because it's the right thing to do, blah, blah, blah. And kind of like Judas the Betrayer, this manifestation of war, hatred, and, just all the awfulness that exists within the world, kind of, I guess kills isn't the right word, but stops him and invades the minds of these people. And from there, he attacks them mentally. They can't move. The only thing they can do is blink. And it's kind of like a form of hell, really. You can't move. You can't talk. You can't do anything. All you can do is simply exist around this demon, this aspect of war, if I'm going to be a little bit eloquent about it. And from there, the Ephrata branch finds Job Zamperini. And they're like, oh, wow, Morse code, all that? Yes, we'll interview you. And they go through this whole, I guess not charade, tirade, I guess, where they're like, oh, it's blah, blah, blah. It's nothing. With Christ, I'll be good. And then, the horrors of war come back. He remembers being helpless in that Japanese internment camp. He remembers the horror and the fear he felt. And that's when memories of Watanabe, who I guess this might be his, spirit, coming back and being like, I am your worst nightmare. You will never escape. I feel like that was a pretty good impression. And then, he continues his attack on, Job Zamprini even after all these years. And I think the whole like demon, whatever, the demon attacking people, even though it's like 50 years later, I think that's kind of still relevant. The horrors of war really never really leave. What did I just say? The horrors of war really never leave. I feel like in America, we're lucky enough that we didn't have to deal with that. But, places like Vietnam still suffering the effects from Agent Orange. Places like Europe still have thousands of landmines hidden in their, land from World War II. Like anywhere there's really a modern war, people are still suffering from it. And I think the video might be trying to say, again, I'm not the expert. I even think there are a few holes you can poke in my theory. And poke them. It's whatever. But it goes to show that, like, we can never really escape our past. We either have to confront it head on and, improve through our problems, or the past will catch up to us and hurt all those around us. So, very sad, very cool video. I hate it so much. It's so good. It terrifies me. When I was sitting in the dark over there in that red chair and the pipes are creaking above me, I was genuinely tweaking. I was like, dear Lord, what's that? And I was like, whatever. So, I feel like I've rambled. I hope I put a good bow on it. I hope you understood what I was saying, because I like yap. I don't got a script. I just wrote up some words and I yapped. You want to see my notes? I don't have notes. It's literally just a bunch of Bible passages and things I thought were important. Probably couldn't see that, but whatever. After all, this is the end. This is the end. I'm done. I hope you have a good day. Yeah, I don't know. This is the end. I hate editing stuff, hate transitions, I hate beginning. But I hope you have a good day. Please subscribe to my channel. I might make more, but I'm very lazy. I might stream. I don't know. I never do. Bye.